All right guys, here we have our light for our truck. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open this light up and we're going to install halos in here around our projector light. And the way you can do that is you can do it one of two ways. Either you can put this in an oven at 250 degrees for 15 minutes and get it so that the adhesive gets loose, and then you basically just pry it apart and pull this lens off of this backing. Or you can take a Dremel with a cutting wheel on it and you can actually cut all the way around the lens on this light, and then when you put it back together, you'll take and put some silicone sealer all the way around it to seal it up to keep the moisture and stuff out of it. All right guys, as you can see here, we've got everything laid out and ready to go to put onto our truck. So the first step of this process is to get these old ones out of the truck. Okay, the first step obviously is to take off our cover here, and you can see you just pop the body plugs out of it, and we'll just lay this off to the side because when we're all done we'll have to put this back. One other important thing is that there's a bolt that holds the headlights in right down behind this piece right here on this valance and behind there, so this all has to come off and get out of the way. Next thing we want to do is get this valance off so we get this headlight out of here, but before we can get to this valance, we're going to have to get in the fender well here, take off our fender flare and the inner fender well. So let's get that out of there so we can get to the headlight and the valance. In order to get this fender flare off, what we got to do is there's bolts that go around here. This one's 8mm, the rest of these are Torx, and then there's one 13mm that's up underneath the bottom that we got to take loose. So we'll get those out so we can get this off, get to this inner fender. Fender flares out of the way, so now there's a whole bunch of little Torx headed screws all throughout this inner fender. You just got to start pulling them out to get those out of there, and once you get all those screws out, then you can just pull this inner fender right out over the tire, set it off to the side, and that'll let us get to a bolt that's holding this valance on right in here. Got all of our screws out of here, so now we can get this inner fender out of the way. Now you don't have to take it out of here, you can leave it laying up in there, but it's just as easy to pull it out of the way and set it off to the side, and then you don't have to deal with it. Okay, the next thing we're going to do here is there's a little bolt right up here. It's a little 8mm bolt. We're going to take that off, and what that'll do is that will allow us to pull our valance loose on the front here. We've got that bolt out of there, so now we're going to pull this valance loose, and it's held in with clips, so it's going to be kind of tight, a little bit difficult to pull out of here, but it will come out. You just kind of got to be a little bit mean with it, and that's going to allow us to get into our two bottom bolts in our headlight. Now that we've got that out of the way, we can take these bottom bolts out. All right, we got the two bottom ones out, and we'll go ahead and pull these two top ones. And we'll get a hold of our headlight, and we're going to fish it out of here. And then once you get it loose and out of there, you just unclip it right here, and ta-da, it's out. All right guys, before we put our new light in with our halos, what we want to do is, you see this bundle of wire here that's on the back of the light. These are the wires that work the halos. We want to unwrap this tape off of them, because when we put this in to the area where it goes on the front of the truck, we don't want this stuck down in the bottom where we can't get to it to wire our halos up. So we're going to take all this and we're just going to hold it up out of the way, and we'll come over here and plug this in. Okay, what we're going to do with the wires on this side is we're just going to take them, and there's a little slot in here, we're just going to put them through there and bring them up here for right now, and then plug this into our new light. And then we're going to take our new light and we'll get it down in here where it goes. Now this part can be a little tricky, guys, because you got to be able to get this light behind the grill and behind the valance and under the fender all at the same time. Okay, once we got that drop back in, we can start putting our bolts back in it. Now, at this point, what would be a good thing to do is to go over and turn the lights on, make sure that they're working and everything before we get too far along, so we're going to do that. We've got the bolts back in our light. We know that our light's working like it's supposed to, so we can go ahead and put this valance back on. That's back in place, so we just got to put that bolt back in there, put our inner fender back in, fender flare back on. All right, we got our valance all reattached. Now we're going to put our inner fender back in here. In there. All right, guys, we've got our inner fender back in, so we're going to put our fender flare back on, which is a pretty simple process. You just line up your pins and give her a little pop. Okay, once that's back in place, then we'll go ahead and put the bolts back in it. Okay, we've got our headlight reinstalled into the truck, so the next thing to do is put our grill back in. We'll just go ahead and push it back up here in place where it goes and put our bolts back in it. Now we're going to put our cover back on. We've got our cover back on and our body plugs put back in to hold this on. So the next thing we're going to do is install the fog lights. So let's get those old ones out of there and get started. We've got our Oracle Halo headlights installed into our truck. So the next step in the process of redoing the lighting on the front of our pickup is to install our Oracle Halo fog lights. They're kind of the same deal as the headlights were. In order to put the halos in here, you can do it one of two ways. You can either take a Dremel and cut around the outside of your light and then reseal everything, put it all back together, run some sealer and some electrical tape around it to keep it all nice and sealed. Or you can put it in the oven for at 250 degrees for 15 minutes to get the glue to become a little more loose so you can pull the lens off, and then you can put it in that way also. Let's get these into our truck so we can get them hooked up to our multicolor light changer. In order to get these factory fog lights out of our truck, what we have to do is right in behind this plate right here, there's two tiny little screws, one right in here and one right in here, that we have to go up through here to get to. They're 7mm screws. Now in order to get this fog light out of here, on the back, this ring right here, on the back of it, there's some little clips. You just have to push up on them a little bit, and then this ring will come loose, and you can pull the ring off of here. You can see the clips there. That's what you're pushing on to get the ring off from the back. And once that's off of there, then it's just a matter of giving a little pull on the fog light to snap it out. And then once you've got it out of there, you just unclip it, or unplug it rather, and we're all set. We've got our new light. So what we want to do now is make sure that we take our wire bundle and we're going to feed it through inside here, and then we'll grab our plug. We'll plug our light back in. Actually, what we'll do is we'll plug the light back in once we have it installed in here, because it's actually easier to plug it in from the back because the factory harness isn't very long. Snap it back in place. Put your ring back on. Now, this ring's got like these two little tabs right here. They actually go, one goes over here on this side and one goes down here at the bottom, so you know where to put that back. There we go. Plug our fog light bulb back up and run our wiring for our color changing halo kit. Okay guys, we've got our fog light in. We've got our wiring ran up here to the top where we can get to it. So we're just going to leave this here for now till we get ready to wire it into our controller. The next thing to do is go put the one on the other side. So and it goes in exactly the same way this one does. So we got our wires all run up here into the engine compartment of the truck. But what we want to do, because obviously all these wires are not long enough to reach all the way into the cab where we want to mount our controller box. So what we're going to do is just snip off all the wires, get them all the same length, and then wire them together and put some butt connectors on these and crimp them down. And then what we'll do is we'll run a single wire off the other side of each one of these colors into the cab to our control unit for our color change. This is what I was talking about before, where we're going to wire them all in together and then run single wires off of them for a couple reasons. One, because then you don't have a whole mess of wires running all the way across your truck. And two, because when we go to wire it into the controller unit, it will be a lot easier to wire in just one or two wires than it will be to wire in 6 wires. We've got our wiring all ran, got it put in these looms really nice and neat across the top of the engine bay, ran it through the firewall and up into the location where we're going to be hooking up our control box. Also, one thing that you might want to do that is pretty essential is go to your local automotive store and pick yourself up one of these fuse holders, so you can actually put a fuse on this and fuse the power wire that goes to the control unit. So it's just kind of an extra safety feature. It doesn't come with the kit. It's not suggested that you do it, but however, whenever I do any kind of wiring like this, we always want to fuse it just as a safety precaution. Now we're going to go inside the cab and we're going to go ahead and start wiring up our control box so that we can get these halos lit up. Now in order to hook this up, what we'll do is just unscrew these a little bit, and you can see they open up down inside here, and this is where we'll slide the wire into those slots. There you have it. That completes our installation of the Oracle Halo LED fog lights. So let's take a look at these.